Waka, welcome back to the channel. We have a preview for you guys. We're gonna go through the press conference, my thoughts on the game, and I'm gonna do a prediction for this one. Maybe even predict the starting lineup. But let's get into it. First game of the season. I'm really looking forward to this first match, man. After the summer, after the World Cup and stuff. I'm just really hyped to see Arsenal play again. I just really hope that we show that we are the champions and that we are just way too good for Coventry, man. They have Frank Lampard at the helm. Yeah, we know him from Chelsea. He was at Derby County. I think he was at Everton at one point. And so far, he's been proven to be a good championship manager, but not really a good Premier League manager. So I feel like Mikel Arteta should be able to get better tactics on him, and with the players that we have, we should definitely smoke him. Let's get into Arteta's press conference. Here we have his press conference. They ask him how it feels to go into the season as champions. He says, I feel good, different, hopefully better. I'm more excited than ever, hungrier than ever. I can't wait to start the Premier League at home in front of our supporters, have a great performance, and win the match. I mean, I don't know how you can say he hopefully feels better, but yeah, if someone should know, it should be him, but the rest is just like the standard answer. They're asking about what it takes to retain the title. Those teams have an incredible quality, which is to maintain the standards daily at the highest level. It is an opportunity that we have. I have no question that our players have the desire and ambition to do that, not something that we have to earn and do daily. I don't really know why they ask him this because I get that you want to talk about retaining the title, but he doesn't really have experience with it. So it's not like he can speak from experience about how it is to retain the title. I mean, he was an assistant coach at Man City, so maybe he's been in and around it, but not as the main coach. So really weird. They asked him about signing a defender, and they were trying because I've been listening to the one as well to the press conference. So here it just says on signing a defender, but the journalist was really trying to steer him towards talking about Konsa. But we all know that Ateta doesn't talk about specific players unless they are playing for the club. So in this case, he says we are really active in the market. I think I mentioned that a few days ago. The ambition is to improve the squad. We have a really specific issue in the back line, especially with the long-term injury of Saliba and the fact that we miss one more defender. They are one short when it comes to having 8 defenders. So he says that's clear. So we are trying to reinforce that area. Whenever we're ready, we'll announce something. Probably tomorrow. He will probably be there in the crowd, maybe even gets to walk out on the field. But yeah, he won't go into details about Konza. Only if a signing is close, like I said, he won't really say anything. I'm always positive, I'm always confident. It's something that I cannot control. It doesn't depend just on us. So we are willing to improve that area and we are going to try our best to achieve that. Yeah, there's not much more that he can say. On the possibility of players leaving who have been here a long time, it's a really, really tough moment. You need to face that reality, but you need to face it with real honesty and transparency because when you are on the other side, that's exactly what you need. You might not like what you've been told, but it's truthful. If it's the reality, if it's honest and it's going to help you make better decisions and have more clarity for the next steps in your career, you have to do that. These are always very difficult conversations, but they need to be done. It's like when a player doesn't feel that he belongs or he's important, he wants to have a different chapter. I think that communication has to exist and it has to be both ways. We all know everything has a start and has an end. When it comes to the end, I think our duty, our responsibility is to do it in the best possible way, maintaining the respect and admiration for the player and the relationship, but understanding that in the end, we need to make football decisions. So for me, that really sounds like he had to have big talks with Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, maybe in a on a lesser extent. Then you have Ethan, of course, but they are trying to loan him out. Looking at the reports coming out, which is the smart thing, I would loan him out as well because you never know how well he will develop. And with a buyback, you would have to make sure that he wants to come back as well. And with the loan, he's obligated to come back. And he'll probably have a better relationship with Arteta and everything around it when they say we really like you, but we just want you to have more experience. When it comes to Martinelli, I've said it before, that is definitely my favorite player at Arsenal at the moment. But I do understand that with how he's been performing in the last couple of seasons, it it's kind of time for him to move on. I mean, the way we play, it doesn't get the best out of him. He hasn't really developed to make sure that he adapted to the way that Arteta wanted the role to be filled. So yeah, I feel like he needs to go to a team that plays on the counter or a team where he could be the striker instead of the winger because he started off as a central attacker, as a striker. He went to the wing, and I feel like when you look at some of his actions, he would be a lot better as a striker, and especially in a team that gives him the confidence. When it comes to Gabi Jesus, man, he just needs to go. He is fourth in the pecking order of strikers, with Marino even above him. So there's no point in having him. Fabio Vieira, of course, he knows that he needs to go. So yeah, I feel like this is mostly about Martinelli probably. On giving minutes for players in the squad, kind of weird. Without talking about any specifics, that's something that we are working on with every individual to understand because I would like to have the squad as big as possible because we know what we are fighting for, how long this is, and we'll learn again from the past, especially last year when we got in some difficult situations and we had 2 or 3 injuries in the same area of the pitch. So the deeper the squad that we have, the better. We have to manage that. But the players have to feel important and valued. In order to do that, they need to play minutes. So yeah, he's learned from the last couple of seasons where we have had injury problems. That's why he bolstered the midfield with Bruno Guimaraes and with MLS there, Zubamendi, Rice, Marino, Odegaard as a. Oh, we have a lot of players there for three spot for. Oh man, we have a lot of players there for 3 spots, and we have to just make sure that we manage the players. Rice doesn't have to play as many minutes. Zubamendi doesn't have to play as many minutes, so they will be fresher, lesser chance when it comes to getting injuries, which is amazing. In attack, we don't have it all around, especially if you let Martinelli go. You would have to get another left winger. In the back line with Konsa coming in, we have everybody covered and we have so much versatility there. We have 3 goalkeepers. Yeah, so I feel like he definitely has learned from it, and I hope that we can see him rotate a lot more to show that he knows that last season he should have done better with that, especially in the early stages of the season. on if there is more pressure on the players this season. We need to breathe and we need to take this organically because it's going to be a long marathon as well. We what we need to show is the desire and ambition. Oh, is that desire and ambition will be better than what we were last season, a month ago or a week ago when we played Manchester City. We have the ability to improve, to evolve, and that's what I sense and I feel around the club and especially around the players. Honestly, for me, I don't think there's as much pressure on the players as last season because last season they had the weight of three consecutive second spots and just 22 years of not winning the Premier League on the shoulders. Feel like this season it's a lot less pressure. Obviously, we still want to win trophies this season, but we aren't as starved. I don't feel like there will be as many tense moments in the stadium. So I feel like the players should have less pressure and be a lot more free. Our record against promoted sides, I feel like this is such a BS question. He's never gonna say, "Oh, we won a lot against promoted sides, so we are gonna win again." No, he's always gonna give Frank Lampard his praise and say that every match is different. So that's kind of what he said. When it comes to Frank Lampard at Coventry, yeah, he's great, but we don't really care as Arsenal players. If he's had time to enjoy being champions, yes, I have. To enjoy it, to reflect, it was time for everything. It was a long summer, longer than we usually have. I feel fresh. I feel motivated. I sense the enthusiasm around the place, and that's exactly what I want. On how hard it is to retain the title, they ask him again. He says, "We'll find out. We haven't done it before, so I cannot really tell you. I had experience, but in a different role, as I said before. It's about what you put in daily, how you set the standards, and how you drive those day by day to earn the right to be where you want to be at the end of May to give yourself the chance to win." Yeah, such a stupid question, man. I don't really know on why he and Lambert have been successful the past 12 months. Probably because we share the passion and the love for the game, and that is something that fulfills you as a person. Playing against Frank Lambert, yeah, Frank Lambert was a way better midfielder than him, so he probably got dunked on a lot. Bukayo Saka and Declan Rice, they are available. They are ready to be involved. I would really like to see at least Rice on the bench for the start of the match. Maybe put him in the last 20, 30 minutes. But I don't want to see him at the start. Timber can't. Timber isn't in training with the group yet. It's gonna be in the next few weeks. We don't know how long. Is ideal squad size? Well, it depends on the availability and the history of those players. I think there's a lot of factors that count. 22 players and three goalkeepers or four is enough. Or maybe you need more, you need to understand what happened in the previous season, the injury record of those players, the versatility of certain players. I'm sure we'll land on the right number. A bit of both, a lot of competition, the right level of cooperation in the team, and everybody feeling important. Oh yeah, we have the three keepers. The back line is almost complete when it comes to having players in there who can play across the back line. Midfield is good. It's just the striker area where we or the attacking area where we just need one or two more players after sales where we just need to have some more reserves on the competition in midfield since Bruno arrived. Yes, that's what the new signings bring, a new energy, something to prove in front of them as well. And obviously a competition. And when you talk about players of that quality and leadership, the same with Solis and Melier, what they've done since day one, I think it lifts the level of everybody. Yeah, midfield is stacked, man. Bruno, we don't know if he can play tomorrow or how much he can play because he did come off against Man City. He has a niggle, so he says it's going really well, but we have to wait and see on the evolution of his team to win by more goals. The more dominant we are and the bigger the margins, the better. So in order to achieve that, we're going to have to be much better in every department. In order to achieve that, we need to have much better availability in the squad than we had last year for long periods of the season so that those margins become bigger. Also, he really needs to make sure that the tactics are different. We don't let the opponents settle in before we go back and attack them. Because there's so much we can do to make sure that we score more goals and we have easier matches where we can sub players off after the hour mark and just cruise to the victory. Or Miles Lewis Kelly being an Arsenal player at the end of the window, 100%. Well, that's what we want to hear, of course. Hopefully, that is the truth because Arteta doesn't always tell the truth in these press conferences. So I really hope this is really going to happen. I haven't bought my own Arsenal kit for the upcoming season, but if nothing really crazy happens in the transfer window where it's like a player that I really want to have, I'm definitely gonna get MLS on the back of my shirt. When it comes to the women, probably gonna be Alessia Russo on the back of my shirt, but I'm just waiting until the window is closed so I know for sure that these players are gonna be at the club, and then I'm gonna get my kit in, man. On if Arsenal are a bad selling club, it's not bad or good. It depends on what you have relative to the options you have to sell. Maybe we've been extraordinarily dependent on the level of the players that we have, their ability and the contracts, and their will to go. A possible issue that you can face is that maybe you want to make certain decisions with certain players, but they're happy and they want to stay as well. There's a lot of factors that have to be right when you have to sell a player, but it's not that simple in my opinion. Yeah, with this, I mean, Jesus is difficult to sell because he's injury prone and he has a huge wage bill. Martinelli on 180,000 a week is probably on the higher side as well for most clubs. So that's difficult. And those are just things that we've had to deal with over the years. Also, holding on to players 1 or 2 seasons too long made it that their value would dip when we are finally ready to sell them. Look at Man City with Reinders, for example. He had 1 season there. They didn't really like what he did. Another club wanted to have him. They were like, okay, give us this amount, and here you go. And that's what we should have done with a lot more players, man. Maitland now should have gone earlier. I mean, maybe Martinelli should have gone a season earlier, and Ketia definitely should have gone earlier. There are just a couple of those players where it's like, man, why didn't we sell him earlier? And if we need to sell before buying, well, it depends on the sporting success as well. I think there isn't any club in Europe that has had the growth that Arsenal had in terms of value, in terms of the performances, in terms of revenue. So that's something very big. Some other clubs, maybe they need to sell. I think we're taking an approach that has increased the level of the capacity of the club big time. So probably we don't really need to sell if we want to get another player in. Konza's coming in anyway, so yeah, maybe with the attacker, they are just waiting to sell someone, not just for that, but also for the squad. Because if you buy another attacker, but you can't get rid of Martinelli, for example, you're gonna have an imbalance. You're gonna have one player that's gonna be annoyed because he's not gonna play. So I think that's also a factor. Target on our back as champions, well, not really an important question. Atmosphere will shift after winning league. I think it's been an evolution in terms of the atmosphere 3, 4 years ago, then 2 years ago, then last year. When you also close it as well at some point, the atmosphere and the feeling of not doing it again can restrict you. But when I see the celebrations and the parade and those emotions, I'm very confident with that we are going to have, in my opinion, the best stadium in the world and the best atmosphere in the world. That's the PR answer there. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a different kind of atmosphere because we don't have that 22-year wait for a trophy hanging over us. So yeah, keep key players from the academy. Well, yeah, some players yes, some no, but MLS definitely should keep him. And when it comes to Waneri, I would really just give him a loan and then see where we are next year. Maybe there are some developments throughout the season where it's like, oh, he can slot in that position. Sending players on loan to Premier League clubs, I think those are individual cases. Those players have to be ready as well to compete in the Premier League and to play regularly. The priority is to expose those players and give them minutes. You better agree that that's going to be the case, and how many clubs, teams, managers in this league can guarantee that that's going to happen to a really young player that probably hasn't had exposure. If you find it great because that's the level that you want them to compete, but sometimes they need a different pathway. The beauty of this is that the pathway can be completely different and the outcome can be the same, and this is the magic of football as well. I feel like that's something for Waneri. It would be better for him to play in the Premier League to really get used to that. But yeah, probably in the lower end of the league, they could possibly guarantee him minutes, but he would have to want to go there and it has to just be right. Yeah, it's the rest here is not really that great. We know that Calafiori is first down. Transfer speculations, yeah, it's gonna make it harder, but yeah, it's not really something that he says with all honesty no, because it doesn't go through my eyes, it goes through my ears, especially with Dan or Kate, that they feed me, okay, what is going on, and my kids that say, are you signing this, because they are on Twitter or they hear it from their friends, how close we are with this. The rest are just focused on the information that I get from Andrea Berta, the board, to understand where we are with those transfers and what we are able to do and whatnot. That's kind of the whole press conference. I mean, yeah, we just have to wait and see what's gonna happen, man. I think I would love to see tomorrow, obviously Raya in goal. I would love to see Galafuri, Gabriel, Mosquera, and White. That's the best possible way to start there. If Bruno is fit, I want to start with the same midfield as against Man City. So I would want to see Miles, Bruno, and Odegaard. If Bruno can't play, yeah, it would be a toss-up for me between. If we could, I would put Supermendy next to. Yeah, I'll put Supermendy next to MLS because I just want to give Rice a rest. But if Bruno isn't there, maybe we should start with Rice and bring him off for Zubimendi later, and hopefully in another match we can rest Rice. When it comes to the attack, it's yeah, I think I would always say I want to see Victor Gyökeres because he is the striker that we bought last season. That I want to see have a better second season, but I'm thinking it's gonna be Solis, Harvard, and Saka starting. But yeah, I would have probably done it a little bit different with Gyökeres at the start, especially against his old team. But yeah, I feel like Arsenal can win 3-0 against Coventry. We did it against Man City. I feel like we can do it opening night at the Emirates. We should be able to beat them 3-0 convincingly. Goals probably by Harvard, Saka, and I think Solis will score his first goal in the Premier League in the first match. That's the match preview. I just feel like, yeah, there's not too much to say about tactics and whether we don't know what Coventry is going to be like. We don't know what Arsenal is going to do, how fit the players are. We did great against Man City, but this is going to be a different type of opponent. We did look better. We did look more fluid. I really hope that we keep that up and just, yeah, show them that they are in the home of the champions, man. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys after the match with a match reaction. See you then. Peace.